High school football fans, Varsity Media is bringing exciting, exclusive content to you for the 2022 season. Introducing the Varsity Media Pass, available on iOS and Android. Accessible all season long, the Varsity Media Pass features game highlights, weekly podcasts,
a clash of styles, out in Setauket. We love those differing styles, right?
Top 10 plays of the week, player interviews, and so much more. Head to varsitymediapass.com to download the app and start enjoying content only Varsity Media can bring.
From Mitchell Athletic Complex in Uniondale, Long Island, it is a Catholic High School Football League showdown in the AA1 division, featuring the visiting Mavericks of Moore Catholic and the Terriers of St. Francis Prep. This Catholic High School Football League showdown presented by Maspeth Federal Savings. Good evening, everyone. Dylan Butler here, along with Tom Rooney, and this is a great matchup here between the old guard a little bit and a St. Francis Prep team that's looking to push their way up in the AA1 standings, and you would make the argument against the more Catholic team, and we'll get into different results and what happened in the Catholic League as this broadcast goes along, but you could make the argument more Catholic might be now that favorite to win the AA1 championship. So an intriguing matchup here between these two teams.
Absolutely. St. Francis Prep is a powerhouse for years in this league, and Moore Catholic is as talented as any team in the tri-state area.
Yeah, that's a part of the interesting dynamic of this one as well, where St. Francis Prep has the rich history of so many AAA championships. Their last title back in 2005, they played for the AAA championship in 2001, and Moore Catholic, under their head coach Nick Giannatasio, has really built up his program, and it is not easy on Staten Island. You get the likes of Monsignor Farrell, St. Peter's, St. Joe's by the Sea. There's a lot of battling for those same kind of players. But you know what Moore Catholic has done? They have won, and they've beaten St. Peter's, they have beaten St. Joe's by the Sea, and they got a big historic win against Monsignor Farrell, which has really sort of helped them really feel good. First one in program history. They're coming off, though, their first loss of the year. Moore Catholic is a tight one, 21-14 at Holy Trinity in week 6. So Moore looking to bounce back from that, and they have some excellent players. We will feature now some players to watch from Moore Catholic, and the Mavericks. You see their wide receiver, Michael Zay. What a year Zay has had. You see his numbers, 9 receptions, 215, and 2 touchdowns. He's also a defensive specialist as well, with 45 tackles, 5 picks, 4 pass deflections, a forced fumble, and a fumble recovery as well. And DeJuan Coachman is a beast in that linebacker position for the Mavericks. Ridiculous numbers at this point of the year, 70 tackles. That's more than 10 tackles a game at this point, or 10 tackles with the week 0 game, 6 tackles for losses, 3 fumble recoveries, a 2-year starter. He's got the offer from D2 West Virginia Wesleyan as well. There were other players we could have slotted in for these spots, but they've been banged up. They have been hit probably harder, Giannatasio says, than ever before with the injury bug.
Right, and it just goes to show you the battle that is Catholic high school football. You know, week in, week out, it's a physical game. Moore Catholic, loves to play a good physical brand of football, and sometimes it catches up to you. But they're getting healthy, and you you just pointed out two tremendous high school football players.
Normally, we would be seeing the likes of a Matthias Leighton, fantastic junior for them. He is out injured. And again, it's been a long litany of injuries throughout the season. But the Mavericks move on. They are 5-2 on the season, 3-2 in the AA1 division. For St. Francis Prep, they are 2-5 and 1-5 in the AA1. And it's been an interesting year for the Terriers because you go from like the big wins that we've seen here on the Varsity Media Sports Network, right, where you beat the likes of a Cardinal Spellman, you beat the likes of a Zavarian. Those are teams below their level, right? Like a AA2 team, then they, because they're in AA1, they've got to punch up higher as well, and those have been their decisive losses on the year. They lose to Christ the King. They lose to Holy Trinity. They had a shootout of a loss to Mount and a really tight one as well to C. They're coming off, though, that 20-0 win over Zavarian, a game that we had here on the Varsity Media Sports Network where Isaiah DeCruz rushed for a couple of touchdowns. And two of our impact players we'll talk about now for them, our players to watch, I should say, also had a big game in that one. We look at their wide receiver, Sebastian Corderola. He had a touchdown reception in that win against Zavarian. The junior from Whitestone, 12 receptions, 300 yards, and 5 touchdowns. The fourth leading receiver in the Catholic AA1 division, and Brian Daly. Listen, just look at his headshot, man. This guy is serious.
He looks like a football guy, doesn't he?
100%. 6'1", 248. Normally, just as that defensive side, injuries have forced him to also help out on the offensive line as well. You see 37 tackles, 12 of those for losses. When he hits you, he's driving you backwards. 3 sacks as well. He's got interest from Stony Brook. He's also punting the football, so good luck trying to get in on blocking him, right? Like, I think you just back off.
Right.
You're so intimidated by a Brian Daly.
You don't want to run into that guy.
No, I think you bounce off there as well. So, like any other game, we do have keys for this one, and we spoke to both coaches about keys to their team to be victorious or to be to have a good game for that one. And we'll take a look now, Tom, at our keys to this game. For more Catholic, they want to play clean. No unforced errors, no turnovers. They always want to be fit. That's the second key there. That's every single game. That is very much in their DNA by playing physical. And as such, it kind of bleeds into the third key for them, which is win the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. St. Francis Prep, you got to come off the ball. You got to be aggressive. And, you know, their head coach, Richie Carroll, said, honestly, look, we've got to play at a higher level than we've played all season long. Along that line, you've got to limit mistakes, right? You have to tackle. You can't have missed tackles. You got to be fundamentally sound, especially against a team like Moore Catholic.
Right. In order to pull off this upset, you know, St. Francis Prep is going to have to match the physicality. Moore Catholic has a huge offensive line, tends to dominate the line of scrimmage, and St. Francis Prep knows that. They got to get some push and try to hold off that group up there for Moore Catholic. The
head coaches in this one, we mentioned before, Nick Giannatasio, in his 6th season as the head coach, 7th overall at Moore Catholic. He was in the JV head coach's first year, a 1991 graduate of Port Richmond out there on Staten Island. And the head coach for St. Francis Prep, also in his 7th season, is Rich Carroll, a 1986 graduate of St. Francis Prep, was the captain of that 1985 AAA Metro Bowl champion. He succeeded, and he was a longtime assistant under the legendary head coach Vince O'Connor right up until his death February 14th, 2015. O'Connor, 62 years at the helm, 344 wins, 14 league titles. Obviously really tough to fill those shoes, but that is what Richie Carroll is trying to do and bring back a lot of that tradition as well with St. Francis Prep. We'll take a quick break. We'll have the opening kickoff when we return. You're watching this Catholic Football League Showdown presented by Maspeth Federal Savings on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Maspeth Federal Savings is here through it all. The ins and outs, the ups and downs. Through the winters, the summers, and even the spring of leaks. Know that Maspeth has your back. From luxury sheets to balance sheets to dancing under the stars, your mission is our mission. And when our community calls, we proudly step forward. So whether you need it now or planning for tomorrow, through all the twists and all the turns, you can always find us right here in your neighborhood.
High school football fans, Varsity Media is bringing exciting, exclusive content to you for the 2022 season. Introducing the Varsity Media Pass, available on iOS and Android. Accessible all season long, the Varsity Media Pass features game highlights, weekly podcasts,
A clash of styles, out and to talk it. We love those differing styles, right?
top 10 plays of the week, player interviews, and so much more. Head to varsitymediapass.com to download the app and start enjoying content only Varsity Media can bring. Varsity Media covers every sport at every level from every angle. Game film, recruiting videos, highlight videos, sportscasts.
That's complete. First down and more. Touchdown, Oceanside.
Photography, live streaming. You name it, we offer it. Don't leave your video needs to amateurs. Trust the pros. Contact us at 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net. If you're an
Welcome back to Mitchell Athletic Complex. Dylan Butler, Tom Rooney, the entire Varsity Media crew here for this Catholic AA1 showdown under the lights here in Uniondale. This is the championship venue for the Catholic High School Football League, and we were here for all 3 games a year ago. More Catholic was here as well. The Mavericks played against Chaminade, losing in the AA1 championship game. They obviously have aspirations of getting back here to Uniondale. Giannatasio joked with us that was their only ever loss here at Mitchell Athletic Complex, and it's pretty remarkable the rise that those Mavericks have made under Giannatasio, where they won the A or the AA2 now. They went up, they won the AA1 as well. So they're one of those teams that are certainly their trajectory is a AAA powerhouse. And again, when you beat like the beast on Staten Island in Monsignor Fowler, which they did at home in overtime, that's a big statement of intent on what you want to do.
Absolutely, and Coach talked about you had to beat Farrell first, right? You had to beat Farrell to kind of win Staten Island. But what he's done over the last 6 years is tremendous. He's built a program here where championship games and championships are the expectation, and the roster that he's putting out is a championship caliber roster for this year.
Actually, quick correction on that: they won the A in 2016. AA2 in 2019, and obviously AA1 a year ago in the championship, and we expect to see them there again. Opening kickoff, the Terriers have the return, and that's Jaden Asmad with the return. So the Terriers on offense, and a flag is on the play. They'll be led out by their quarterback, Isaiah DeCruz, and what a great dual threat. DeCruz is the senior. This is senior night here for the Terriers. Number 5 has been very, very good for St. Francis Prep. You see his numbers: 29 of 57, 587, and 6 touchdowns. Also has those 24 carries, 174, and 2 TDs. Also starting as a cornerback as well. DeCruz, a 2-year starter, a warrior for the Terriers.
Yeah, he's an excellent high school football player. Like a lot of the best athletes, he's going both ways, but he's a dual threat. Excited to watch him play.
So the Terriers, off of that flag, get backed up to their own 21-yard line. We'll get you some starters after this play. DeCruz goes to the air, looking long, and that's an incomplete pass. The intended target was Sebastian Cordarolo. Let's take a look at the Terriers' starting lineup. On offense, you've got DeCruz, Calora, Best, and Felly. We are going with a heavy lineup here, as well as the tight end and Tristan Hillman. Corderola, the only starting wide receiver. The big boys up front, Daly, Beer, Keller, Proponis, and Gill. So 2nd and 10 from the 21-yard line. Like the idea there, too, right? You
Little play action, I like
Sure.
it. Yeah.
and throw a little deep bomb on 1st down, but you've got to move the ball here on 2nd down. Nice bit of yardage pushing forward. I believe it was Hillman. Was it 6 who had the ball, or?
It looked like 33 fell there. It might have been
Christian
fell.
Felly, yep. Let's take a look at the Mavericks on defense. And there's some big guys here. Tabansi, Maniscalco, Meredith Smith, and Field, your linebackers. Coachman, Vanterpool, Herbert. Vanterpool and Herbert are both sophomores. Your corners are Ferraro and Stewart, and Martelli and Zay at safeties. 3rd and 7 for St. Francis Prep, their first possession of the game. DeCruz under pressure, and he is taken down. Loose ball, and the Mavericks have come up with it.
Yeah, that's a tough start. That's a coverage sack right there. You know, he dropped back, and there just was no one to throw the ball to. You know, it looked like he had pretty good initial protection, and Moore Catholic with a good job of covering receivers. I couldn't see who.
Well,
picked
John
it up there.
Field jumps on it, the junior defensive end. So excellent field position now for Moore Catholic, and they are led onto their field by one of the best quarterbacks in the Catholic High School Football League, and John Machowski, a Sacred Heart commit, that pro-style quarterback, but he has improved as a runner this year. He hands off on 1st down, and that push by that O-line leads to a pretty good carry by the sophomore R.J. Pacheco. And let's take a look at those Mavericks on offense. And it's Machowski, the Sacred Heart commit. Pacheco, only a sophomore. Ferraro, Messina, Johnson, and Zay, your receivers up front. Tabansi, Akil, Meredith Smith, De La Cruz, Cardona, and Giwa. Gain of 3 on 1st down for Moore Catholic. Mikowski back to pass, lobs one in the end zone, touchdown, Moore Catholic. What a touch on that ball, and the reception was made by Jalen Johnson, his 3rd touchdown of the year, and the Mavericks, just like that, are on the scoreboard.
What a well-designed play. You're going to see here, Mikowski acts like he's going to take this on a quarterback keeper, and he's so poised. Watch as he just kind of, takes a couple steps forward.
I love the touch here as well, Tom.
Oh, not an easy ball to throw. There's not a lot of room here with the end zone, but watch this. Just kind of baits him into thinking run. You see the St. Francis Prep guys just take, a couple steps in. Beautiful touch on that ball.
The PAT by Shane DeLacy is up, and it is good. So 7-0 early on for the Mavericks. We'll take a quick break here from Mitchell Athletic Complex. You're watching this Catholic Football League Showdown presented by Maspeth Federal right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Maspeth Federal Savings is here through it all. The ins and outs, the ups and downs. Through the winters, the summers, and even the spring of leaks. Know that Maspeth has your back. From luxury sheets to balance sheets to dancing under the stars, your mission is our mission. And when our community calls, we proudly step forward. So whether you need it now or planning for tomorrow, through all the twists and all the turns, you can always find us right here in your neighborhood.
Welcome back to Mitchell Athletic Complex, and didn't take very long for the Mavericks on the road here in Uniondale to take the 7-0 lead. A little bouncer, and here comes the return for the Terriers. And a pretty good one as well, past the 40-yard line. A solid one by number 4, Peyton Buchanan. And that's exactly at least the first part of a response that you want to see after conceding a touchdown on the other side.
Right, and listen, this is a big atmosphere for St. Francis Prep. They got a big crowd here under the lights, homecoming game. Little nerves that first possession. Now they got good field position. Let's see what they can do.
So they start this drive from their own 43-yard line. And again, you got that heavy set. 3 backs with the Cruz under center. Handoff goes to Deonis Best. And Best looks like he got just past the 45-yard line. The senior from Brooklyn has been a workhorse this year. 34 carries, 413 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Also with 6 receptions for 99 yards and a score. Really put in the time this offseason to get better. Join the track and field team where, by the way, he ran a 6.955. Handoff there on 2nd down. It looks like it's Best again.
Yeah, it looks like St. Francis Prep here is just trying to establish that they can run the ball. You know, they can get off the ball, and they're in a pretty good spot here, 3rd and 5.
Yeah, 3rd and 5 from the 49-yard line. Best as well, running 11.47, 100. So just joins the track and field team and already putting up some really, really good numbers.
Very good athlete. Double wing look here.
DeCruz back to pass, slings it, finds Corderola, a 1st down and more. He gets to the 34-yard line, and an important moving of the chains for the Terriers.
Yeah, nice play here. Corderola's on the outside, just runs a slant. You got slant and a little out from the inside receiver. Beautiful ball, right in stride. Great job by St. Francis Prep here to answer that early Moore Catholic touchdown.
And that looked like, too, when, you know, we're not privy, we're not at their practices and in their film room, but it looked like everybody there did exactly what they were supposed to do in terms of their routes they had to run.
Yeah, very well designed.
Best in motion. And we've got some whistles and I think an official's timeout here. Maybe a little discussion about no, it is actually a penalty. It's actually an encroachment against Moore Catholic. The Moore defense is fast and big and physical, everything that you'd want. You see just how big they are. You see number 70 on their line. That's Akil Meredith Smith, 6'4", 285. Henry Tabansi going to Buffalo. He's 6'6", 290.
Yeah, not easy to push those guys around.
It's DeCruz. Cuts inside, gets a couple more. He's pulled down at about the 27-yard line.
I like what St. Francis Prep is doing here. They've basically shown about 4 different formations, not letting Moore Catholic get real comfortable, you know, run right, run middle, run left, you know, kind of keeping them on their toes, a pass here and there. And right now they're in good shape. 2nd and short is where you want to be against this defense.
Yeah, 2nd and 4 for the Terriers, and that is very much part of the way they want to operate. DeCruz slings it out of bounds, but when we spoke with Rich Carroll as another flag is thrown, he says, look, we are a run-oriented team, and we manipulate the defense with our formations, that just as you said. So they'll use that tight end to force the strength of our offense to a certain side and utilize that to make the offense work. He said, too, we beat teams, he said, as an offense, not one individual. It is very much a collective, especially the way that they run their offense.
Right, and that was actually a well-conceived play right there, just an overthrow. But I think you're going to get a roughing call here, which is going to give him a 1st down and put him inside the red zone.
Yeah, so you move the chains again, you go plus 15, and now you're in the red zone for St. Francis Prep inside the 15. So let's see if the Terriers can capitalize on this opportunity. Looks like they're going to go big again as the tight end Hillman checks back in, 6'2", 249 out of Brooklyn. Again to Cruz under center. Flips it to his left. The holes are there. Big hit as well. But a great run there by Anthony Kalura, the senior from Whitestone.
Yeah, that time they gave him a wing tee look. They went tight end to the wide side and just a quick pitch to Kalura, that's a downhill run. That's a good, tough run against this defense. And they're in, 2nd and 3. That's a great, 7-yard pickup.
Corderola in motion to Cruz, runs his way. Slings it end zone, and he's intercepted. He is right at the 1-yard line. And it is our player to watch, Michael Zay.
Isn't that amazing? We say he's a player to watch, and it didn't take very long. He just tracks the Cruz right across the field. Keep his feet in bounds. Great play.
And it just you could sense the energy here at Mitchell, like it just let the air out of a balloon. They were excited, this crowd, this big senior day homecoming crowd, and an interception at the 1-yard line.
Yeah, that's a tough. But the good news is you got them at the 1, right? And if you can hold them, you're going to get the ball back in good position.
Got to get out of their own end zone right now. Mikowski takes it himself, pushes forward, and he hopes his big boys help him out. Forced back, a little extracurriculars as well. Mikowski's an interesting guy because Giannatasio says, we talked about all those big dudes, right? He says there's no one stronger on this team than the 6'2", 205 Mikowski. Has a deadlift of over 500 pounds against Monsignor Farrell. And it's funny to think this because this is a team that's been just so hampered by injuries. He comes in, plays DN, and gets a sack against Farrell.
Well, Coach said he didn't even realize how strong he was. I don't think Mikowski realized how strong he was. And now he's running the ball even more effectively.
2nd down. And a big gain there on 2nd down. As it was Pacheco again. He's a sophomore, 6'1", 175. What's remarkable, Tom, too, is he didn't play much, right? He had about 4 games of a varsity season last year after being called up from JV. From those 4 games, picked up an offer from Temple University.
Yeah, this kid's a big-time football player. You see the burst just going through the line, and I think we're going to see a lot of him tonight.
3rd and 3 from the 9. Mikowski hands off again, goes to Pacheco. Tackled there, you saw Sharif Membinger, the senior safety, one of those honored before the start of this game, but it was enough for Pacheco to move the chains.
Yeah, and Moore is just running right over big number 79. The LIU commit, 6'7", 300 pounds. Mashu Jiwa at the right tackle. It's pretty simple. Run behind the big guy. And he's moving people around.
A great story is Giwa. We'll talk about that in a moment as Mikowski, little shimmy, a little shake. Mikowski out to midfield, splits another defender, gets to the 50. He's got blockers up the field, and he just scampers out at the 39-yard line. John Mikowski, it's remarkable to think, Tom, he not only leads the Catholic AA1 in passing, but also in rushing as well.
Well, they ran Pacheco a couple times effectively, so then he rides Pacheco and keeps it, and then the rest is all him. This is just some tremendous vision. Look at his cut right here, back against the grain. That's about the 35-yard line. He was able to pick up another 20, 25 yards with that cut. Great vision, great cuts, and the line allows them to get into that second level.
He had blockers up the field. He didn't even need any of them.
No.
That was all on his own. 1st and 10. They'll call it the 39. Mikowski fakes the pass. Look at this run.
Oh, boy.
He is a special player. R.J. Pacheco, touchdown, Moore Catholic. A 39-yard scamper to the house.
Let's not forget that this drive started on the 1-yard line. right? And once they got a little breathing room, look at this run by Pacheco. They pulled both the backside tackle and guard, and then Pacheco does the rest. Great speed, and that's why he's going to be a Division I running back.
Yeah, a legit FBS player. At 6'1", 175, has size, speed in the 4.6 range. He's powerful, good vision as well.
Yeah.
And, Tom, he's one of those guys, as DeLacy's PAT is up and good. Pacheco is one of those guys who is injured. He broke his wrist against Xavier. This is incredible.
It is.
Like, he broke it during the game. He didn't know it, and he's still at the end of the game with a broken hand, had these crunching blocks to ice the win against Xavier. That shows you how tough Pacheco, the sophomore, is, but also explains part of this injury problem for the Mavericks, because Pacheco just back. Mario Ferrara, another guy, their receiver, who broke his thumb. He couldn't play until week 4. They're still without, Lighton got an injury in their last game against Holy Trinity, so he's out. But, it speaks to the depth, certainly, right, of this team. And an important factor that Giannatasio said is that this year, not many guys are going both ways.
Right.
Like, he wants to get to the point of, like, Stepanek, Iona, St. Anthony's, where really, unless you've got that really special, like an Ian Strong kind of guy, you don't have guys go both ways, and it certainly helps you in terms of the injury front. DeLacy, a really good kickoff, and it's got to be another long return. It's Corderola to do so, and he gets just inside the 30-yard line. Varsity Media is excited to be teaming up with the Yes Network app, where we bring high school football to even more fans. Our broadcasts are now simulcast on the Yes Network app. We've got a whole host of games in Nassau County, Suffolk County, the public schools, the Catholic schools, and we're so excited to have them also on the Yes app.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity. You get this great high school football menu that's on Varsity Media out to the masses. Now St. Francis Prep has really got to answer the bell here. They had a great drive. They get the ball down. They have an unfortunate turnover. They need a drive here.
The Crew's now in shotgun. Hands off. That's a clean handoff to Kalura, but only gets a couple of yards there. And he looks to be a little bit banged up.
Yeah, we're way up here, Dylan, but this is a physical football game right now. I don't know if you can hear it on TV, but you hear pads slapping. This more Catholic defense gets after it. Nice little option play there for St. Francis Prep. Kalura's a tough kid. He's back in the huddle.
Gain of 4 for Kalura. Came into this game with 37 carries, 154 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He's important because Best is the guy who gets, maybe you would argue, the majority of the carries, but he's got to be really big to play off of Best. And there is Kalura again with a big run to about the 36-yard line.
Yeah, nice little play there. Good play fake. I think a couple guys actually tackled the fullback, and then Kalura turned it up and put themselves in a position to convert this third down.
And Kalura's a guy who makes great defensive reads. Doesn't have that blazing speed, but he'll hit that hole hard, and he'll grind out as many yards as possible. 3rd and 3 for St. Francis Prep. Inside handoff going nowhere. And a late flag. Let's see about this one. As you saw, big number 70 in on the tackle, Akil Meredith Smith, as well as John Field. But let's check out this infraction here. And it might be one of those taunting personal foul varieties, unless it was a face mask. Here's a call, personal foul against Moore Catholic. So you had to stop.
Yep.
It was a TFL, and now you move the chains. That's got to kill you if you're Giannatasia.
I tell you, coach is going to be upset. This is the kind of stuff he talked about, trying to play clean and not having these silly penalties. And, I mean, there's really no need for that. You're letting St. Francis Prep now just kind of extend this drive.
Yeah, so they get out to the 50-yard line. Don't think actually with the turnovers before we ever actually were able to tell you about the offense for St. Francis Prep. Did we show their starters offensively? Oh, we did. Okay. We did not. We will soon. Maybe we'll even do it now as it was Felly on the carry on first down. Let's meet those starters offensively for the Terriers. It's the Cruz, Kalura, Best, Felly. Wide receiver is Cordarolo, Hillman as your tight end, Daly, Beer, Keller, Proponis, and Gill. Up front, Simon Sanchez is a big miss for the Terriers, the senior left guard, which kind of ends up now you're forced to kind of bring Brian Daly now onto the offensive side. He's been very, very good, no doubt. But again, it's a guy that you'd rather not have to go both ways. 2nd and 9 to Cruz over the middle. Finds a target. It is Hillman. And the big fella gets a first down and more taken down at the 31-yard line.
This is classic wing T waggle. They've been running sweep and fullback dive. They're going to fake the sweep. And DeCruz is going to just boot out. He does a nice job of pulling up there and throwing a nice ball across the middle. Hillman does the rest.
Hillman, the 6'2", 249-pound junior out of Brooklyn, his 3rd reception of the season. There goes Kalura. Kalura into the secondary. He'll also move the chains. Gets pulled down at the 20-yard line.
I mean, did Coach Carroll describe this kid perfectly? He's not blazing fast, but what he did was read his blocks really well, and then he gets his pads forward, and he's going to hit you with full speed as a running back. St. Francis Prep is starting to find a little success with this wing T look and running some sweep. They're doing a nice job kind of keeping Moore Catholic's defense off balance.
This is eerily similar to the last drive where they moved it down the field and then stalled and turned it over at the 1. So they've got to get in the end zone here to remain certainly in this game. There's a run inside, a really good one as well. The different looks offensively, and this time running the football is Deonis Best.
Yeah, that time they flipped the formation like Coach told us he wanted to do, give them different looks. They went wing left, and then it was Best's turn. Does a nice job of turning that up.
And that'll do it for the first quarter. So Moore Catholic, they score early. They're opportunistic off of a turnover. They get another point, another 7 points. They lead this one 14-0. You're watching this Catholic Football League Showdown presented by Maspeth Federal on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Maspeth Federal Savings is here through it all. The ins and outs, the ups and downs. Through the winters, the summers, and even the spring of leaks. Know that Maspeth has your back. From luxury sheets to balance sheets to dancing under the stars, your mission is our mission. And when our community calls, we proudly step forward. So whether you need it now or planning for tomorrow, through all the twists and all the turns, you can always find us right here in your neighborhood.
Welcome back to Mitchell Athletic Complex here in Uniondale. Start of the second quarter. Dylan Butler, Tom Rooney here with you for this Catholic AA1 matchup between the Mavericks of Moore Catholic and the Terriers of St. Francis Prep. St. Francis Prep faces a 2nd and 5 from the 15. First play of the second quarter. And again, a nice push up the middle. And again, you credit those big guys up front. Right inside, your left guard is Ethan Beer, 6'1", 243 out of Oakland Gardens. Joe Keller, your center, 5'11", 282. Gill at right tackle, 6'1", 271. Proponis, maybe a little bit of the puppy among this group, at 6 foot 203 at right guard.
Yeah, those guys are getting off the ball right now, though. They're doing a really nice job, and the prep running backs are putting their nose in there and getting some tough yards.
They were trying to get one, but it doesn't look like they're able to. Rushing the football there was Aiden Alvia. Alvia, a good story as well. He was a sophomore who got injured in July. He was set to play in the varsity, hurt his knee, so they put him on JV for a game when he was finally cleared to play. But he's been great at practice, in games, and Rich Carroll, you see they're having a conversation with DeCruz, said Alvia will certainly have an impact. Not the biggest guy at 5'5", 155, but is getting the job done here. Big fourth down here for the Terriers. 4th and 2 from the 13. Flip goes to Best. I think he's short. He is.
Yep.
Let's see if we could watch that again. The tackle was tremendous on that side. Looks like he got him right to the stick. Watch it again here.
Yeah, quick pitch.
Was that 16? Defensively, Isaiah Vanterpool. And Vanterpool, part of that sophomore combination at linebacker, man. You play a 4-3 for more. 2 of those 3 are sophomores. The other is arguably your best defensive player in Coachman. So another turnover in the red zone, this one on downs, and Moore Catholic has the ball at their own 11-yard line. And that's how you get out of trouble with the end zone breathing up your back. You give it to Pacheco, and he'll move the chains.
Yeah, nothing fancy there. I mean, that's Pacheco just finding some space, getting in behind the big guys on that Moore Catholic line. You know, he's got good vision, and he's not easy to bring down. And 11 yards, 12 yards on first down is a great answer.
So 1st and 10 now from the 24-yard line for the Mavericks. Mikowski in shotgun. Takes it himself, runs right up the gut, breaks a few tackles. He's finally taken down by number 3, Jaden Asmad. Let's finally meet the defense for the Terriers. We had met the offense twice at this point. My bad on that. Let's meet the defense. You've got Daly, Chavez, Beer, and Caligiros up front. Your linebackers are Kalura, Recupero, and Felly. DeCruz and Asmad are your corners, and some pretty solid safeties as well there in Best and Memminger. So that run by Mikowski gets him another first down. 1st and 10 from the 32-yard line. Mikowski back to pass. First option out there, second either. Tucks it and runs. Past the 40, 45. There is a flag, though, on the play as he's forced out at about the 47-yard line. It'll be a hold on the offense.
Yeah, but you see why Mikowski's so good. I mean, he went through his progressions. Nice job by Prep defending the pass there. And Mikowski just went from one read to the next and then tucks it and runs. You know, they're having a dual-threat quarterback like Mikowski is just really tough to defend.
Mikowski committed to Sacred Heart. His additional offers were Bowling Green, Austin P, Fordham, LIU, Central Connecticut State, Duquesne, and St. Francis as well. And that run game is what's been the added element. You know, last year when we spoke with Giannatasio ahead of their championship game against Chaminade, said that he's not going to be confused with Cam Newton. But he's been better.
Oh, yeah.
Again, he's not a blazing speed guy, but he hits those holes hard and he finds his opportunities. And he's really good, too, and he's able to throw the football. A couple of broken tackles and past the 40-yard line. as it's Pacheco showing his entire arsenal here today.
Yeah, a little screen here. Mikowski just sells pass. They're trying to run off these the DBs, and Pacheco just settles in there. And, you know, when you make the first guy miss like that and you can shake off a tackle, you're going to get yardage. It's well-balanced offense right now for Moore Catholic.
2nd and 1 from the 42-yard line for the Mavericks.
Nice play.
Yeah, that was Pacheco again. And this time, though, eating up Memminger, part of that crew with the TFL.
Yeah, I mean, I think Prep's going to have to do that. That's Memminger from his safety spot, rolling up and getting into the alley there, and probably giving up some coverage. But if you're going to stop the run here, you're going to have to take some chances with your safeties.
And actually, I thought it was a tackle for a loss, but they have moved the chains. So Moore will have a fresh set of downs at the 44-yard line. There's that play again. That was a touchdown pass. Mikowski, again, really good job getting the ball downfield. Oh, it looks like it's going to be a pass interference penalty. The intended target, I think it was, let's see if we can see it again, but definitely the flag was thrown as DeCruz was the corner on that play.
Yeah, tough
Pass
call.
Interference on the defense.
I think he was trying to hit Michael Zay down the middle of the field, and DeCruz might have just had a little too much contact as the ball was in the air. But Moore Catholic, they run, and then Mikowski shows you that run, and it really puts the DBs in a tough spot. DeCruz might have had to, throw out the old wing, try to slow him down a little bit. Moore Catholic wastes no time. They don't give you a lot of time, Dylan, to give us all that information that you have. They get right on the ball. They come at you.
We'll try to get it in. 1st and 10 from the 41-yard line. Mikowski, plenty of time. Now he rolls out. Another flag is thrown. Flings it downfield. Has an open receiver. Just misses his man. But again, there will be a flag. And with that much time, you expect the call. And it is a hold on the offense.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised that Moore Catholics got away from the run. They've been so successful with the run. And they're this is what they didn't want, was to kind of pick up these penalties in the middle of the field and slow drives down.
So now we'll back up the Mavericks. Again, a spot foul in high school, and this really backs them up to their own 42-yard line.
Yeah, most teams don't have a lot of plays for 1st and 25 or whatever this is.
They have
maybe
to
almost
get,
27, 28.
Yeah, they have to get to the St. Francis Prep 31 to get a first down. That's how backed up they are. How about this look? They might get it all back right here. They don't, but a quality run there by DeJuan Coachman. And it's a 2nd and manageable now.
Yeah, a little inside handoff to the wing. Coachman's the wing. They pull the backside guard and tackle again. Look at those two big guys running down the field. 75 is 6'6", 300 pounds, and he's leading the running back down the field.
That's Henry Tabansi. Tabansi and Jiwa, both originally from Nigeria, both came in to play basketball.
Yeah.
And that's that athleticism that you see. That's running the full court right there for Tabansi. 2nd and 8. Oh, fantastic block. Frees up Mikowski to get moving. Mikowski spins, pushes forward, and he'll get to about the 15. He was under pressure, and a tremendous block in the backfield allowed him then to get out and get the first down and more. Let's see if we catch it again here.
Yeah, I'm not sure who comes.
55's coming in. Boom.
Wow. 57. That's Cardona.
Cyrus Cardona.
Yeah. Who Coach talked about how smart he is, right? What a smart play. He has no one in front of him to block. You know, you see a lot of high school linemen kind of look around. There's no one for me to block. And he goes understanding that means someone's probably free. And he goes and gets the free rush from the backside right guard. What a play.
Of this offensive line, he's the baby of the group, just a sophomore, but a 2-year starter nonetheless. Mikowski slings it, goes end zone. Was he out of bounds? And he was. It was a completed pass. Looks like that was Zay, but he was out of that corner of the end zone.
Yeah, it looks like Mikowski just waited just a hair too long to throw that ball. Zay ran a great route, and Coach talked about him being a great route runner. He runs a little corner, and I think he had the prep defender there thinking he was going to go across the middle of the field, just a little late on the throw.
Second and 10 for the Mavericks. Looking to extend their lead. They motion the receiver. It looks like another flag is thrown. The ball was pushed forward. Meminger on a tackle. And there's a hold again. And this, well, once again, when you go to the film room or even on that long bus ride back to Staten Island, Giannatasio is going to maybe pull aside a few of these offensive linemen and be like, what are we doing here?
Yeah. I'll tell you that. I don't know if you noticed Daly on the backside. He made that tackle along with Meminger. Came all the way. He's the right defensive end. Came all the way down the line to make that tackle. He's an excellent football player, Daly.
So it'll be a 2nd and 20. Now, if we've seen anything or if history give us any indication, the down and distance doesn't really seem to matter. They make it up pretty quickly. These Mavericks do. Mikowski, and that one is caught. Zay. What a great job just keeping his feet in, diving towards the sideline, and he gets to the 9-yard line.
Yeah, Dylan, you just see a little rollout here by Mikowski. He's got a lot of time, and Zay works down the field, comes back to the ball, and keeps his feet in bounds. That's a really, really nice catch by Zay.
Zay's a guy who's that possession receiver, right? But he's got that sneaky speed. You don't think he's going to run by you, but he does. Super smart as well. Cornell and Yale looking at him will likely be an Ivy League football player. Here comes Mikowski pushing forward, and the defense for St. Francis Prep pushes him back. 22, Brandon Recupero, the senior out of Bayside, the first one in there.
Yeah, Daly and Recupero. That's a really nice job. That's a tough play. You know, when you lead the running back and the quarterback runs, you know, you get that extra blocker. And that time St. Francis Prep was ready.
Recupero also plays baseball for St. Francis Prep. Really athletic. Had a career game against Mount St. Michael earlier this year. Had a couple of interceptions, a couple of touchdowns as well. Was just all over the field. And you can see the nose for the football there. 4th and 14, timeout for St. Francis Prep. This is probably a situation Shane DeLacy is like, Coach, give me a chance here, because he's not had many opportunities, the more Catholic kicker, to kick a field goal. Giannatasio says, look, he hits 50-yarders in practice. He was 0 for 3 in field goals against Stepinac last year. He missed one in that non-league game against Conwell Egan, but then his first ever varsity field goal he gets himself in the record books, a 36-yard overtime winner against Monsignor Farrell.
Yeah, you don't mind missing the other ones if the first one you make beats your rival Monsignor Farrell. He's got a great leg. I watched him in pregame easily kicking 40-yard field goals, and he can hit a 50-yarder. I get the feeling they're going to keep the offense on the field here.
Sorry, Shane.
Like they will.
Shane is almost automatic as well in his PAT attempt, 16 of 18 this year. So it'll be a 4th and it's like about 3 here.
Yeah, they got Trips at the top and Pacheco to the right of Mikowski.
Mikowski uses Pacheco as a blocker, cuts inside, gets toward the end zone. He won't get in the end zone, but he will set up a 1st and goal for the Mavericks.
Yeah, and it looked like there, Dylan, that what we talked about before, you use the running back as an extra blocker. This was obviously a run-pass option type play, and Mikowski just saw a seam. And, this new confidence, and this happens with high school kids. Coach said you're never confusing with Cam Newton last year. He looks like Cam Newton this year, right? He's a senior, he's stronger, he's confident, and he runs the ball with authority.
Again, there's very good players in this AA1 division. You look at all those guys, even at Holy Trinity, as Pacheco lowers the shoulder, tries to get that yard he needs. He gets in the end zone. Touchdown, Moore Catholic. R.J. Pacheco with the score.
Yeah, get in behind these big guys, and Pacheco just lowers his shoulder. Gets a little assist from Mikowski. You see that from behind. You don't see a lot of quarterbacks doing that.
Well, he ran into Cardona's back, and again, he's 6'2", 270, so automatically he's going to bounce off of that. And then kind of like a pinball, Mikowski, like, I'll take you the rest of the way here, buddy.
Yeah.
Mikowski loves that physicality. A little muff here. You've got to try to go for 2. And DeLacy right away is going to be like, this was not on me, coach. This was blown up a little bit as you saw it was fumbled a little bit there by Frankie DiGirolamo.
I can tell you this is something that's going to bother Coach because this isn't about this game, right? This is about possibly being back at Mitchell Athletic Field in a couple of weeks in a championship game. And those are the kind of plays that win or lose your championship games. Extra points, field goals, not executing in the special teams. That's going to bother him. That's something they'll work on going forward.
For all your high school football needs, it's Varsity Media Pass. You've got top 10 plays, highlights, podcasts, interviews, and so much more available on iOS and Android. The picture here is of a Josiah Brown at Holy Trinity. We wish him all the best. Had a very scary injury this afternoon where he was lying motionless on the ground. Their game against Chaminade, an ambulance had to come on to the field. He was brought to a local hospital. We are told suffered a concussion but was able to move his hands and his legs. So that's positive. We certainly wish Josiah all the best in his recovery.
Yeah, tremendous football player, and you never want to see anybody get hurt, but especially somebody like that in a big game. That's a tough blow for Trinity.
Ahmad, after fumbling the football, pushes forward and makes something out of seemingly nothing there for St. Francis Prep. And it's funny too, Tom, because in our conversation with Giannatasio, the Moore Catholic coach, he talked about that loss to Stepanak, right? So you look at it and you say, 40-0, you guys got blown out. But he said it was a game of like 6 or 7 plays where if they make them and Stepanak doesn't, maybe that game gets changed. You could make the same argument here. St. Francis Prep makes a couple of those plays. They get in the end zone there. They don't have the interception.
Right.
And it could be a 14-14 game right now.
Well, we kind of looked at each other and said, this Prep offense is very good. They're moving the ball down the field. They just can't seem to complete a drive.
And this time the big fellas get in. They push Best back. So Tabansi, part of that 75, along with 70, I think it was Akil Meredith Smith. Tabansi, a great story as well. 6'6", 290, a 3-year starter, a Buffalo commit. Also, the offers came in from Toledo, Bowling Green, Stony Brook, LIU, Albany, Maine, Rhode Island, and Bryant.
And don't forget, Florida recently asked for some workout.
Some workout film. So that's another sign, Giannatasio said, of the improvement of his team. The Cruz goes to the air, finds Felly, but in and out of the fullback's hands.
Getting back to Tabansi, I mean, we saw him pulling before, and he was out in front of a running back, Coachman, a very talented, fast kid, and he's running stride for stride. He's 6'6", 300 pounds. Yeah. I mean, that kind of athleticism you don't normally find, and as Coach told us, he's just kind of scratching the surface of how good he can be.
Yeah, still pretty raw as a football player. And how many times now have we seen these like guys who are, these power forwards in basketball make this incredible transition. That pass was deflected. Make this incredible transition to either side of the line, right?
Right. I remember seeing DeBrickshaw Ferguson at Freeport, his junior year. He was about 6'6", 6'7", but only about 250 pounds. The reality was he was a great athlete. You could put some weight on. It's hard to make a kid a great athlete, and, he wound up being a first-rounder and a great, pro with the Jets.
Yeah, Tabansi, before his freshman year, had never played football. So now this is his senior year. So you've got 4 years of varsity experience. 3 years of varsity experience only, as well as that one other year. So first punt of this game for the Terriers, and it is Daly to do so. But you could say the same. You can make the same argument as well for Mashad Giwa on the other side. He's a senior. He's 6'2", 290. He's only in his second year of playing football. So LIU did an incredible job getting on him early. There's going to be, Giannatasio thinks, some other interests, other offers perhaps, but loved what he saw out at LIU, and a really good job by them, because he's another one of those diamonds in the rough. Again, just a baby in terms of his football knowledge. And again, think about this too. Guys like Tabansi and Jiwa, they don't know about football as a youth kid. They're not playing with these Massapequa Mustangs or these other programs. They were in Nigeria playing basketball or other sports. Right. So they're even in the football IQ, they're behind as well.
Right, and that may be one of the reasons why we've seen a couple holds here and there and some things like that. But you listen, when you're a high school football coach and a 6'7", 270-pound kid walks down the hall and you get him to play football, you're in business, And if you have two of them, you're in really good shape.
Omar Osman there with the reception. He started a week ago against Holy Trinity, Osman did, because of injuries. Reception there for 9 yards, sets up a 2nd and 1. Mikowski back to pass, rolls out, fires it over the middle. Oh, what
great
catch.
Wow. Ferraro.
Mario Ferraro, the transfer from Monsignor Farrell. How about the strength just to hold on to this ball?
Yeah, I mean, this is a great pass by Mikowski. I mean, he puts it in a really tight window on the run, zips it, but Ferraro to catch, I mean, he's got Meminger there just all over him, and he hauls it in.
Yeah, if you're Meminger, you didn't do anything wrong, right? You played it about as well as you could play it. A flag on the play.
Coach on the field here, you don't see this a lot, explaining something to the officials. It looked like they motioned that there was 12 men in the huddle. I haven't seen more Catholic huddle a whole bunch.
Maybe he's saying, look, Tabansi's so big he wasn't even in the huddle. regardless, they will back up the Mavericks. I know John Perez has done a few of these St. Francis Prep games, and he messaged me about the fireworks in the area. We don't see them here, but I can hear them in the distance out at Mitchell Athletic Complex. Certainly More Catholic is bringing the fireworks on the field. Look at all the time from Mikowski. Slings it, and another terrific grab. Did he stay in bounds? He did not. That was Messino. Michael Messino, another guy. An opportunity here with others hurt. A chance here to earn some playing time.
Yeah, good coverage here by Prep. Give them credit. Mikowski really has nowhere to go, and the D line is relentless. Good for those guys playing hard here all the way through, and keeping More Catholic's offense behind the sticks here, second and long.
Mikowski makes the trip from Woodbridge, New Jersey, to More Catholic on Staten Island every day. Nice tackle. There he saw 3 on the play. Asmad, as he pulled down, I think that was Ferraro.
Yeah, smart play by More Catholic. You know, just get 5 yards back, get it into a third and manageable. I mean, really everything has been kind of manageable for them.
Yeah.
You said you don't have a lot of plays for
second and 27 is manageable.
Right. But, smart. Listen, this is also working on your 2-minute offense. At the end of a half, you want to score.
Mikowski again rolls right. Intercepted at the 18-yard line. Sharif Memminger with the pick. For Memminger, his first interception of the season.
Yeah, that's a great play by Memminger here. You're going to see he's in coverage underneath this play, and it looks like Mikowski's trying to go back to Ferraro, and he just comes off his receiver, reads Mikowski's eyes, and makes the play.
Mikowski's 5th interception of the season. Big play there by Memminger. Really, Coach had a great story to tell as well about Sharif Memminger. They had open house at St. Francis Prep, and listen, it's a huge school. It could be overwhelming for 7th and 8th graders to come in and just look around. And he went into the cafeteria, saw a young man who seemed to be down, and he just kind of went up to him, he and Brandon Francis, and said, "You all right? Everything look good?" And he seemed to be a little upset. He said, "Listen, if you want 40 friends when you come here to St. Francis Prep, join us, come up to the football table, meet the rest of the guys." For that, as Hillman makes the reception, for that he earned a star on his helmet, and it speaks to the character of a Sharif Memminger.
If you're Coach Carroll and you're trying to, reestablish this program and build St. Francis Prep up, Memminger and acts like that and building this that's how it's going to happen, right? You get a kid like that, who's just wants, doesn't have to do it. He takes the time to find this young man who more than likely, Dylan, will be out here in a few years playing.
Sure. And certainly we expect, should he make the admissions process, get into St. Francis Prep as well. His grandfather, Carol said, was nearly in tears at the act of kindness there. DeCruz ducks out of trouble. Has a receiver downfield, but he just misses his intended target, as that was Peyton Buchanan, the junior out of Rosedale.
Yeah, DeCruz does a good job back there. He manipulates the pocket well. He stepped up there, looked like he was going to run, and was just a little off target. But he's a good athlete back there.
So 2nd and 10, 23 seconds left in this first half. St. Francis Prep would love to get some points on the board. They've been in the red zone twice, and they have nothing to show for it. DeCruz. Oh, what a terrific handoff. Past the 50, first down, and a little bit more. How about the extra effort by Deonis Best?
What a really nice, well-designed play here. DeCruz looks like he's going to, step back and pass, and he just kind of leans forward and slides it into Best's belly. Watch this. He looks like he's going to roll out, and there he goes. I think he had everybody fooled.
And there goes Best.
There goes, look at this. Best, good tough run.
Right, he gets those extra few yards as well. So timeout here on the play with 14 seconds left. We spoke about Sharif Memminger. How about we get to know a little bit more about Mr. Memminger now? Favorite movie? Remember the Titans. You can't go wrong with Remember the Titans. Favorite song? Letter from Houston by Rod Wave. His vacation spot? Sharif, my man, I'm with you. Aruba. Sounds good in late October, right? Hit Aruba a little bit, the beaches.
He's got the right idea. Yeah.
Certainly does. A great head on his shoulders as well for the 6'1 senior out of Far Rockaway.
And just a really good high school football player. You see him getting some snaps here on offense, plays a lot of defense. Very good player.
1st and 10 from the 40 for St. Francis Prep. Low snap to Cruz. Under pressure. The big fellas are chasing him down. And he does a great job just to elude them. And he does also get out of bounds to stop the clock with 7 seconds remaining. If anything here, Tom, it gives them a chance to perhaps go end zone here, right?
Yeah. I mean, they do have a timeout. They could probably throw something short and get a quick timeout, but DeCruz can certainly reach the end zone from here. It's not exactly in their DNA. That's, they're
a deep bomb sort of. Yeah.
They're not a spread offense, but, everybody practices these situations, and DeCruz is a good enough athlete to get the ball there.
So 2nd and 5 from the 35.
They go spread here.
DeCruz, look out. Somehow eludes the pressure. Still has it, flings it. End zone, out of bounds. Just to get that pass off was somewhat of a minor miracle for DeCruz, because all those big dudes from Moore Catholic, and they've got a whole bunch of them, were chasing that QB down. So that'll do it here from Mitchell Athletic Complex for this first half of football. And it's been Moore Catholic who's made all those important plays. They lead this one 20-0. You're watching this Catholic Football League showdown presented by Maspeth Federal right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Maspeth Federal Savings is here through it all. The ins and outs, the ups and downs. Through the winters, the summers, and even the spring of leaks. Know that Maspeth has your back. From luxury sheets to balance sheets to dancing under the stars, your mission is our mission. And when our community calls, we proudly step forward. So whether you need it now or planning for tomorrow, through all the twists and all the turns, you can always find us right here in your neighborhood.
High school football fans, Varsity Media is bringing exciting, exclusive content to you for the 2022 season. Introducing the Varsity Media Pass, available on iOS and Android. Accessible all season long, the Varsity Media Pass features game highlights, weekly podcasts,
A clash of styles, out in Setauket. We love those differing styles, right?
top 10 plays of the week, player interviews, and so much more. Head to varsitymediapass.com to download the app and start enjoying content only Varsity Media can bring. Varsity Media covers every sport at every level from every angle. Game film, recruiting videos, highlight videos, sportscasts.
That's complete. First down and more. Touchdown, Oceanside.
Photography, live streaming. You name it, we offer it. Don't leave your video needs to amateurs. Trust the pros. Contact us at 516-403-2300 2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net. If you're an event organizer looking for a media company to cover live streaming, action photography, and game video for your event, look no further. Varsity Media travels throughout the Northeast covering weekend tournaments, showcases, and championships. Contact us today to learn about our services and packages at 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net.
For the best action shots and the best angles, look no further than Varsity Media. Our experienced photographers capture your athletes' best moments right from field level. Plus, we offer great keepsakes like bobbleheads, posters, plaques, and prints. For more information about Varsity Media's photography services, contact us at 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net.
Maspeth Federal Savings is here through it all. The ins and outs, the ups and downs. Through the winters, the summers, and even the spring of leaks. Know that Maspeth has your back. From luxury sheets to balance sheets to dancing under the stars, your mission is our mission. And when our community calls, we proudly step forward. So whether you need it now or planning for tomorrow, through all the twists and all the turns, you can always find us right here in your neighborhood.
Varsity Media is the tri-state area sports leader. We offer an array of services for any team, coach, player, athletic director, and parent. From game film to live streaming, we are available to cover your event anytime, any place. Looking for an enhanced experience? How about a professional broadcast with multiple camera angles, announcers, graphics, and instant replay? Need a highlight reel? We produce individual highlights for college recruiting and team highlight videos for end-of-season banquets. And when it comes to social media, nobody has you covered better than us. Hype videos, sideline highlights. We can tailor custom videos to make your team stand out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Why waste your time dealing with anyone else? When it comes to sports video, Varsity Media stands alone. Contact us at 516-403-2050 or online at varsitymedia.net. You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Maspeth Federal Savings is here through it all. The ins and outs, the ups and downs. Through the winters, the summers, and even the spring of leaks. Know that Maspeth has your back. From luxury sheets to balance sheets to dancing under the stars, your mission is our mission. And when our community calls, we proudly step forward. So whether you need it now or planning for tomorrow, through all the twists and all the turns, you can always find us right here in your neighborhood.
High school football fans, Varsity Media is bringing exciting, exclusive content to you for the 2022 season. Introducing the Varsity Media Pass, available on iOS and Android. Accessible all season long, the Varsity Media Pass features game highlights, weekly podcasts,
A clash of styles, out in Setauket. We love those differing styles, right?
top 10 plays of the week, player interviews, and so much more. Head to varsitymediapass.com to download the app and start enjoying content only Varsity Media can bring. Varsity Media covers every sport at every level from every angle. Game film, recruiting videos, highlight videos, sportscasts.
That's complete. First down and more. Touchdown, Oceanside.
Photography, live streaming. You name it, we offer it. Don't leave your video needs to amateurs. Trust the pros. Contact us at 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net. If you're an event organizer looking for a media company to cover live streaming, action photography, and game video for your event, look no further. Varsity Media travels throughout the Northeast covering weekend tournaments, showcases, and championships. Contact us today to learn about our services and packages at 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net.
For the best action shots and the best angles, look no further than Varsity Media. Our experienced photographers capture your athletes' best moments right from field level. Plus, we offer great keepsakes like bobbleheads, posters, plaques, and prints. For more information about Varsity Media's photography services, contact us at 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net.
Maspeth Federal Savings is here through it all. The ins and outs, the ups and downs. Through the winters, the summers, and even the spring of leaks. Know that Maspeth has your back. From luxury sheets to balance sheets to dancing under the stars, your mission is our mission. And when our community calls, we proudly step forward. So whether you need it now or planning for tomorrow, through all the twists and all the turns, you can always find us right here in your neighborhood.
Varsity Media is the tri-state area's sports leader. We offer an array of services for any team, coach, player, athletic director, and parent. From game film to live streaming, we are available to cover your event anytime, any place. Looking for an enhanced experience? How about a professional broadcast with multiple camera angles, announcers, graphics, and instant replay? Need a highlight reel? We produce individual highlights for college recruiting and team highlight videos for end-of-season banquets. And when it comes to social media, nobody has you covered better than us. Hype videos, sideline highlights. We can tailor custom videos to make your team stand out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Why waste your time dealing with anyone else? When it comes to sports video, Varsity Media stands alone. Contact us at 516-403-2050 or online at varsitymedia.net. You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Maspeth Federal Savings is here through it all. The ins and outs, the ups and downs. Through the winters, the summers, and even the spring of leaks. Know that Maspeth has your back. From luxury sheets to balance sheets to dancing under the stars, your mission is our mission. And when our community calls, we proudly step forward. So whether you need it now or planning for tomorrow, through all the twists and all the turns, you can always find us right here in your neighborhood.
High school football fans, Varsity Media is bringing exciting, exclusive content to you for the 2022 season. Introducing the Varsity Media Pass, available on iOS and Android. Accessible all season long, the Varsity Media Pass features game highlights, weekly podcasts,
A clash of styles, out in Setauket. We love those differing styles, right?
top 10 plays of the week, player interviews, and so much more. Head to varsitymediapass.com to download the app and start enjoying content only Varsity Media can bring. Varsity Media covers every sport at every level from every angle. Game film, recruiting videos, highlight videos, SPORTSCASTs.
That's complete. First down and more. Touchdown, Oceanside.
Photography, live streaming. You name it, we offer it. Don't leave your video needs to amateurs. Trust the pros. Contact us at 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net. If you're an event organizer looking for a media company to cover live streaming, action photography, and game video for your event, look no further. Varsity Media travels throughout the Northeast covering weekend tournaments, showcases, and championships. Contact us today to learn about our services and packages at 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net.
For the best action shots and the best angles, look no further than Varsity Media. Our experienced photographers capture your athletes' best moments right from field level. Plus, we offer great keepsakes like bobbleheads, posters, plaques, and prints. For more information about Varsity Media's photography services, contact us at 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net.
Maspeth Federal Savings is here through it all. The ins and outs, the ups and downs. Through the winters, the summers, and even the spring of leaks. Know that Maspeth has your back. From luxury sheets to balance sheets to dancing under the stars, your mission is our mission. And when our community calls, we proudly step forward. So whether you need it now or planning for tomorrow, through all the twists and all the turns, you can always find us right here in your neighborhood.
Varsity Media is the tri-state area sports leader. We offer an array of services for any team, coach, player, athletic director, and parent. From game film to live streaming, we are available to cover your event anytime, any place. Looking for an enhanced experience? How about a professional broadcast with multiple camera angles, announcers, graphics?
Welcome back to Mitchell Athletic Complex. Still some more senior night ceremonies. This time it is the senior cheerleaders being honored here at halftime. The Terriers of St. Francis Prep trail Moore Catholic 20-0. Dylan Butler, Tom Rooney here with you for this Catholic Football League showdown presented by Maspeth Federal. There you see some of the ceremonies here at halftime. Special moment for all those involved, and the support staff they work just as hard, if not harder, right, than some of these athletes, so they deserve their due as well. Let's take a look at some first half stats for you, and I think what might jump off the page, Tom, for you is not a lot of difference, right? I mean, certainly more rushing yards for Moore, 177 to 67. They've got a couple more first downs. You see the penalties as well. 7 for 75, 2 for 25 for St. Francis. But the Terriers, as we've said, they've had more of the football. They've had these longer, more extended drives, but they've not been able to capitalize. And in fact, they've turned the ball over twice in the red zone.
Yeah, very rarely do you see a team down 20-0, but leading in time of possession. And the reality is they just came up empty in the red zone. That was a tough interception. Their first real drive, and then turned it over on downs in the subsequent drive. So they've moved the football. They've they're getting first downs. They've been aided by some penalties by Moore Catholic, but St. Francis is in a spot here. If they can get a stop, and get a score, they'll be right in this game.
Moore Catholic quarterback John Mikowski has shown why he's such a great dual threat. 6 of 9 for 79 yards and a touchdown. Also threw that late interception that St. Francis Prep was able to use to move down the field but ultimately not score. He also has 7 carries for 89 yards. His long was that 47-yard scamper when they were inside their own 10-yard line.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with Mikowski. He's got just a tremendous way about him when he drops back to pass. He's unaffected by the rush. He's very calm in the pocket, knows when to throw, knows when to run. He's a much better runner than I think we expected.
Defensively, the leader from Moore Catholic in this one has been Michael Zay with 7 tackles and that interception as well. The opening kickoff is fielded at about the 30-yard line. Big hit there as well. So only about a 10-yard gain. Leading the way defensively for St. Francis Prep is Sharif Memminger, 5 tackles. He also has an interception on the game.
Yeah, and if St. Francis Prep wants to get back in this game, it's got to start right here. They're going to have to deal with Pacheco and Mikowski. These guys have accounted for most of the yardage, most of the offense. They haven't really been able to get them off the field other than that interception by Memminger.
They start at their own 40-yard line. You got to think probably part of the message there by the more Catholic coaching staff is to limit those penalties, right? 7 for 75. That's a big number. It didn't really hurt them a whole lot. Obviously, they were able to get down the field and score, but and again, trying to break some tackles and a great job pursuit of the football-wise. It is Brian Daly.
Yeah, we highlighted Daly in the start of the show, and he just came off that right end, and he's relentless. You know, he's a really good football player, comes down the line and catches Pacheco from behind.
Yeah, the backbone of the defensive line, the senior from Franklin Square. Of his 37 tackles, 12 for losses, 3 sacks on the year as well. That ended up being a loss of 5. Mikowski back to pass, throws towards his own sideline, and that is complete. And it was Mario Ferrara, the intended target. Another guy who, you know, he had a great game against Fordham Prep. Then he broke his thumb. He transferred from Farrell. Part of the Catholic League transfer rule is he couldn't play really until week 4. So that wasn't even an injury, but you lose him until week 4 of the regular season.
Yeah, nice route there by Ferraro. Nice throw by Mikowski. Puts him in a 3rd and manageable after a loss.
Yeah, and this is what you were saying here, 3rd and 10. You've got to get a stop here if you're St. Francis Prep. Mikowski ducks on the pressure. This will be brought back, though. It'll be an offensive holding penalty. Mikowski gets past the first down marker, but you could see right away the white hat threw that flag, and there you see the call. It'll be an offensive holding penalty, and you see where the flag is, too. This is really going to back them up because, again, spot foul in high school.
Spot foul in high school, which means this is going to be about 3rd and I would say almost 30.
Yeah, 3rd in like Nassau County.
You know, sometimes Mikowski's patience, I think, letting his routes develop, it makes it so much harder on that offensive line to sustain their blocks. And, you know, they're just getting caught with some of those late holds as he's scrambling around.
Yeah, that's when you kind of get your offensive linemen in some trouble, when they've got to scramble and turn around. And so a 3rd and 25 from the 24-yard line. This is a must stop here for St. Francis Prep. Mikowski calls his own number, gets past the 30, and now he's pushed back. So it looks like the Terriers did get that stop they want. You see big 55 there, slamming the turf again. Brian Daly involved on the play.
Yeah, good job by St. Francis Prep. They got the stop that they needed. They're going to force More Catholic to punt. First time we see More Catholic come out here and punt.
It will be Mikowski to do that as well. And deep is 4 for St. Francis Prep, Peyton Buchanan. Buchanan unable to field, and how about that for getting out of trouble? You get the punt down inside the 20.
Great punt by Mikowski.
So DeCruz comes back onto the field, trying to get his offense moving, and they have moved, again, the football. In the first half, DeCruz was 3 of 9 throwing the football for 49 yards. That interception as well. You had 5 different guys run the football. Best leading the way with 7 carries for 35 yards. Kalura, 4 for 25. DeCruz, Felly, and Alvia. Also, your receiving options have been Hillman and Corderola. 1st and 10 from the 20. There's the handoff, bouncing outside, getting those elbows flying around. It was Deanna's Best with the run.
Yeah, in the first half, this was St. Francis Prep's most productive formation. They went wing T, and it was either Kalora running right or Best running left. And, they started off with Best 5 yards on first down. And I thought DeCruz did a good job in the first half. He did have a drop. He was 3 of 9, but he had some good balls. He had the one bad ball, that haunts him a little bit. But he's pretty good back there.
2nd and 5. Handoff. Kalora trips a little bit, and he gets a yard or so on that play. And we saw a lot of St. Francis Prep success in that first half, Tom, with changing the looks offensively and really making the more Catholic team think a little bit on defense. And that's always you say it as a coach, right? You want to make the other team think a little bit and not just be instinctual and react and get them thinking. And it certainly worked in their favor in that first half. Yeah.
Now they're back into that wing T formation, and DeCruz is going to keep.
He does, and he gets the first down. A big conversion as he's pulled down at the 40-yard line.
You might get a face mask here at the end of this run. This is interesting. I'm not sure Kalora knew that DeCruz was going to keep it, but he makes a block, and then DeCruz gets right up into the teeth of that defense.
And you know what? That's a great call by you. The White Hat just said, tack on some additional yards for the face mask.
And this feels like the drives from the first half, yeah. Dylan. Some nice plays by St. Francis Prep, and then some mistakes by More Catholic to add on yards.
Just a 5-yard variety on that face mask, so you get out to the 45-yard line now for St. Francis Prep. Terriers seeking what would certainly be their signature win of this season. Little motion, kicking it to the outside was Best, and a good job on the tackle. You see there, it was Mario Ferrara.
Yeah, this time they went jet sweep with Best. They've been running, sort of the wing T sweep 9 look. This time they go jet sweep. And it actually looked like it may develop into a little bit of a bigger play, but Ferrara comes up and lays a good hit on him.
So a gain of about 3 on that. It sets up a 2nd and 7 for St. Francis Prep. Quick to the ball. It's now Kalora who motions. DeCruz tries to bounce it to the outside. Fantastic team pursuit of the football. Kalora was that guy to option it to, perhaps, but you didn't even get that opportunity, right? Looks like Giwa, was he in there?
About half the more.
Tabansi. Yeah. Tabansi was in there, 75.
Yeah, DeCruz tried to bounce that. I'm not so sure that it was there, and More Catholic runs very well to the football, and they were able to rally and put St. Francis Prep now in a 3rd and 10, which is not where they're very comfortable. They want to be in that 3rd and 5 and run the ball and be able to run their wing T stuff.
So 3rd and 10. DeCruz fakes it. We saw that work well in the first half. This time it did not, as the runner was Best, and he really didn't get anything on that play.
Yeah, that was the little draw play they ran in the first half, and it just wasn't there this time. Probably a smart move not to throw the ball down the field, as More Catholic was sitting on it. But you got to be a little frustrated if you're Prep. You finally got to stop, and you got to drive going, and then it just kind of sputters out.
Daly, a little bit of a line drive punt. It'll be fielded at the 25-yard line. Oh, fantastic job on specials. John McLaughlin. Richie Carroll, when we mentioned McLaughlin, he said, oh, yeah, John McLaughlin. He shows up on the scoreboard or on the score sheet all the time, and a big special teams play there by number 24.
Yeah, that's not an easy tackle out in space like that. And Coach Carroll did gush about John McLaughlin, just a tough kid who's, he's just always there, whatever they ask him to do. And, those are the kids who usually excel in special teams like that.
Yeah, called him a sleeper, super athletic as well. Take a look at some of the scores here from Week 7 in the Catholic High School Football League. A couple here that jump out right away, right? Holy Trinity actually losing to Chaminade 10-7. Right here at Mitchell Athletic Complex, a tight one. Stepanak pulls it out, trailing twice in the fourth quarter to Kellenberg. St. Anthony's last night at home, a 44-12 win. Fordham Prep bouncing back off that loss to St. Francis Prep, to St. Anthony's, I should say. Big win over St. Peter's, 27-14. Iona Prep goes to Farrell. They win that one 41-13. And how about St. John the Baptist putting up double nickels on Mount St. Michael, 55-26. But certainly the biggest noise perhaps made there by Chaminade, ending the long winning streak for Holy Trinity, winning in Hicksville 10-7, a really defensive slugfest, and a big win for the Flyers there as well. We'll see how maybe that might impact here the standings. This was through Week 6, and you see there Trinity was the very top, right, of the AA1 standings. St. John the Baptist right behind them, C and more. Now, this is without the PowerPoints, right? So we'll see ultimately in the next week or so how that's going to impact things. You see Fordham Prep and St. Francis Prep there at the bottom, but you speak to any coach in this division, and they'll all tell you there's so much parity among these teams, and you could bring up all these teams and probably go the bottom 4 in the AAA and just throw it up and play it on the day. There's that much parity between all those teams.
Yeah, Holy Trinity, now we'll see how they react, one coming off a loss and possibly losing Josiah Wright for some time, and then a big win by St. John the Baptist, putting up 55 points. And then you have a more Catholic team here that, has been banged up, and it looks like is starting to get healthy. And, what we're seeing is they're as good as anybody. So that's going to be fun come playoff time.
Yeah, a year ago we saw Holy Trinity and St. John the Baptist play for the AA2 championship. More Catholic, they played Chaminade. Chaminade and Holy Trinity won championships a year ago. The AAA championship game was played between Iona Prep and Monsignor Farrell, with the Gales winning that one and then going on to win their first state Catholic championship as well. We will see who emerges from an incredibly difficult playoff picture to predict, right? As we look forward into the final week of the regular season coming up off the long delay here. It's more Catholic with the football from their own 26-yard line. Mikowski fakes the handoff, takes it himself, and he'll get about 5 on that first down carry. Looks like big number 78 in on the tackle. That's Logan Cross, the senior from Cambria Heights. What a good story he is. He's a kid who played his freshman year, didn't play since, right? You have everything with COVID and all the uncertainties there, and the coaching staff. Richie Carroll's like, he's one of those. What if he had 2 more years of varsity football, because Cross has been very, very good. And that's a really good run as well out toward midfield by R.J. Pacheco.
Yeah, Cross is. Listen, a lot of these kids, obviously, they're football career is impacted by COVID and, took some time off. And you're going to see Pacheco here just kind of find that little seam and look how he just rips through tacklers. But Cross is a great story. Comes back for his senior year playing really well for St. Francis Prep.
Yeah, Cross had a big game in their win against Zavarian, a game we had here for you on the Varsity Media Sports Network. Along with Brian Daly, had 6 tackles and a sack in that 20-0 win. First down run. Another flag on the play, as I've been so impressed with Daly, man, number 55 in blue.
Yeah, chased that all the way down from the backside. You get the feeling that More Catholic, when they got the ball back, said, we're going to establish the run. We're going to run the ball right at St. Francis Prep. They've come out double tight, double wing, and it's either Mikowski or Pacheco, and then they threw a little wrinkle in there with Coachman coming around. Unfortunately, and this has been a little bit of the story of the night, Dylan, another penalty.
And again, Moore had 7 penalties for 75 yards in that first half. And this one will back them up to their own 38-yard line. They've got to get to the St. Francis Prep 39 to get a first down. Low snap, Mikowski surveys the situation, rolls towards his sideline, heaves one downfield, coming back, making the catch. Was he out of bounds? That was Zay. Will they give it to him? They're still deciding. They are moving down the field, it looks like. Let's see again.
Yeah, a little play action, and Mikowski just can't see anybody right away. And,
they're going to say
talked about Zay running. Let's see, great job coming back to the ball, and it looks like he might have just had his feet out of bounds.
That was Asmad in coverage. A tight one there. That's one of those, if they had it, and we're kind of thankful they don't in high school football, the challenge flag might have come out. Of course, if there were challenge flags in high school football, our 2.5-hour games might end up being 3.5 hours. So we are thankful.
So More Catholic just subbed in a different package here. It looks like they're going to go 4 wide, which Coach told us they like to run. That's their kind of base set. I think you'll look and see either Mikowski on a keeper or something short. Maybe try to take this second and long and cut it in half.
Mikowski looks for options, goes this sideline, finds one, and it's Zay again, and it was 5-on-5 there as the takedown by DeCruz.
Yeah, and he threw the ball underneath to Zay, but there was no one there for St. Francis Prep, so he was able to turn it up and turn about a 7-8 yard pass into an 18-yard gain.
And that's why these guys, they'll get the penalties, they'll be backed up, and doesn't mean anything, right? Now it's a 3rd and, about 6? Mikowski fakes the handoff, splits a defender, and he's taken down at the 25-yard line. He is special.
That was some little move there in the middle of that run. Does a good job. We're going to see it here of riding Pacheco, gets Daly to bite. Watch this cut. Whoop. And right there, he gets Felly. Felly thinks he has him dead to rights, and he just cuts right back inside him.
It's easy for us to say, right? Like, you've got to wrap up. But when you've got a guy like Mikowski, 6'2", 205, who's so elusive as well, it is not an easy task.
No, he's impressed me tonight. We knew he was a good thrower, Dylan, but I think the running has really surprised me.
There's that step back from Mikowski. Now a couple more steps back, eludes the tackler, and wisely throws this one out of bounds. When we saw him a year ago, it was kind of crazy. Like, he had some dental work before the championship game. Then that got infected. He ended up in the hospital. Obviously, the gamer that he is, he was still on the field that day against Chaminade, but was not anywhere near 100%.
No, and that's got to bother him. That was a tough loss, and when you're not 100% and you're a competitive kid, you want to get back and get a chance to redeem yourself.
Final minute here of this third quarter. More Catholic looking to really put a hammer on this one. And Pacheco again following his blockers, and that's what you're told so often, right? As a running back, just follow your guys upfield. And you saw there Julian Nunez as like a lead blocker. Zay was there as well. And the patience, right, for Pacheco. He could have blown past those guys, right? But he just kind of followed them along and let them pave the way.
For a sophomore to be that patient and run, you don't always see it. He's running behind Giwa and Cardona, who's always ready, right? And he gets up behind those guys and gets a nice gain.
1st and 10 from the 11-yard line. Inside handoff. The hole was there, and so is the end zone. Touchdown for Moore Catholic. And again, after just kind of being a lead block, DeJuan Coachman gets in for the score.
Yeah, you're going to see Coachman as the wing here. They love this play. They pull the guard and tackle. I mean, look at Giwa get up there. I mean, he didn't really have to do too much, but probably because guys are getting out of the way, right, as he leads up, all 6'6", 300 pounds of them.
I want to credit Akeel Meredith Smith there as well, 70, for helping pave that hole as well. And the PAT is no good. So another point left there. It's 26-0, and Akeel Meredith Smith, he's got the offer from LIU. He's a beast as well at 6'4", 285. Let's get to meet the young man, Akeel Meredith Smith. You see there from Elizabeth, New Jersey. Favorite athlete, Trent Williams from the 49ers. His pregame food, I like this mashup here. A little breakfast bowl, some hash browns, eggs, some turkey sausage. And the 3 people, alive or dead, he'd like to have dinner with: his grandmother, who passed, Trent Williams, and Jason Kelsey as well.
I have a feeling that breakfast bowl is pretty sizable. That's not your average breakfast bowl.
Yeah, well, Akeel Meredith Smith's not your average size junior either at 6'4", 285.
Excellent
He's getting
player.
some reps. Yeah, he's getting some reps at D tackle as well. Big physical kid. He's a natural guard, but again, the injuries a year ago, he was forced to get out and play tackle. But he's that team guy, right? Will play anywhere you ask him to play. And yet another one, that kind of Swiss Army knife on offense. They project, or they suspect, their offensive line. Right now you've got 3 Division I guys.
Right.
You bring in a Cardona, you bring in Meredith. Well, Meredith Smith has the offer from LIU, but you could have four guys who start out of the 5 as offensive linemen. There's a really good return here by Asmad. And that was part of our conversation too. Again, Holy Trinity, rightfully so. They're getting all the love because all those crazy freak athletes have so many of those great offers, and you've got UConn and Rutgers commits as well. And
right.
Maybe quietly on Staten Island, Giannatasio said, "Listen, we've got our guys too, right? Our
Right.
quarterback is going to Sacred Heart. Tabansi's a Buffalo verbal commit. We've got guys offered from LIU, other schools as well. So in this division, it's not just Holy Trinity who's bringing in the big names."
No, I think they have 61 commits overall, but 3 on the line that's unusual for a high school team. Double handoff, nice play.
Yeah, I think the first time we kind of saw that quality run there by Peyton Buchanan. Buchanan just still a junior from Rosedale, young, growing into his spot. One of the smarter kids on the field from that great Rosedale Jets youth program.
You see Calora in motion there. Then a nice job. Good block there by Hillman. That's a well-designed play by St. Francis Prep. Buchanan does a nice job getting up in there.
So St. Francis Prep here in the closing seconds of the third quarter. A 1st and 10 from the 40. To Cruz, back to pass. Look out! Under pressure. Ducks under. Still has it. Slings it. Did he find his man? Stumbling and bumbling out of bounds. Was it a reception? No. They say Hillman tried everything he could.
Yeah, this is the waggle the other way to the right. DeCruz has a little like Kyler Murray in him the way he scrambles around, and it looks, man, that was close. Great effort by Hillman.
A second look there, I thought he was in.
I thought he had the right foot in, yeah. They're a little bit closer than we are.
Yeah, yeah, that is for sure. 3 quarters in the books here from Mitchell Athletic Complex. It's Moore Catholic with a 26-0 lead over St. Francis Prep. You're watching this Catholic Football League Showdown presented by Maspeth Federal on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Maspeth Federal Savings is here through it all. The ins and outs, the ups and downs. Through the winters, the summers, and even the spring of leaks. Know that Maspeth has your back. From luxury sheets to balance sheets to dancing under the stars, your mission is our mission. And when our community calls, we proudly step forward. So whether you need it now or planning for tomorrow, through all the twists and all the turns, you can always find us right here in your neighborhood.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sport.
Welcome back to Mitchell Athletic Complex. That's a nice outfit to be wearing on this chilly October evening. The Terrier. That's also a different look. I like the new look Terrier. It was a little bit different when I was in the hallways in the early 90s, late 80s.
He's sleek. He looks good.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, St. Francis Prep has done a really nice job here tonight, Dylan. It's a great atmosphere. They had a really nice pregame ceremony for the senior football players. A lot of people, a lot of energy. Obviously, there are a lot of guys a lot of people in the stands right now would like to see them finish this drive.
3rd down. Oh, look at that change of direction by DeCruz. Slings it, has an open man. How about this one? Getting in the end zone. Touchdown, St. Francis Prep. Sebastian Cordarolo.
What a play. What a play by De Cruz. Look at this. I mean, I thought he was going to, get sacked for a loss. I mentioned he's a little bit like Kyler Murray. I don't know how he saw it. I don't think he saw it. I think he felt it, Dylan. And then a beautiful pass down the field. Really nice job. Cordarolo is just one of those kids who knows how to get open. He kind of knew where his quarterback was. That's a great job.
Point after attempt. Is up, and it is good. Petros Hatyamahalis with the extra point, pulling St. Francis Prep, or at least putting them on the scoreboard. We've got a host of games coming up for you here in the Varsity Media Sports Network. Let's take a look at some of our upcoming broadcasts. And all our games on youtube.com/varsitymedia. I like this week 8 here in the public schools in Nassau County because we take a look at a couple of teams with long winning streaks. As Plain Edge Friday night home for Manhasset. And then Saturday afternoon, Garden City is home for New Hyde Park. And then Saturday evening, it's St. Peter's against Christ the King as well. All those games right here for you on the Varsity Media Sports Network, as well as streaming on the Yes Network app. Yes, again, we are excited to be teaming up with the Yes Network app to bring high school football to even more fans. It's been a great partnership to this point, and we're thankful for the folks at the Yes Network for allowing us to do what we do on their platform, and we hope it's working well for them as well.
Well, if you have the Yes app, you get to see some great high school football and some great highlights like that last play right there from DeCruz. And St. Francis Prep climbs back into this game just a little bit.
That's an interesting kick there, right? Where it's fielded, it's fumbled, and really not much of a return. More Catholic. Both of these teams go into week 8 of the regular season. Take a look at More Catholic's season to this point and what's ahead for the Mavericks now. And look at that beautiful new stadium they have there, new field. See the wins early on. St. Peter's, Cornwall Egan from PA, Xavier, Fordham Prep, that 40-0 loss you mentioned against Stepinac. That was played at Wagner College. And then the big rivalry win over Farrell. Tough loss to Trinity this game, and then take on Cardinal Hayes. That should be a fun one as well out there on Staten Island, and that could have a lot of playoff implications on both, in both the AAA as well as the AA1.
Right, and look at that red turf, really unique.
I love it. Who are those guys that they have the blue? Is it not Bowling Green, is it? Or
it's Boise
yeah,
State.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love the blue turf. I feel like they need to sell those like blue potato chips there as well.
yeah, that you see on JetBlue.
Yeah.
The blue terrors.
Yeah. Just go all blue.
Yeah, I imagine they have some blue stuff there, right?
Have to. So now the Terriers' defense maybe stepping up here. It's a loss of 3 on first down, which pushes the Mavericks back to the 15. But if we've learned anything about this More Catholic team, it's that any down, any distance, they are so dangerous. Mikowski looks like he slipped there. And looks like another no gain there. So this could be shaping up for a pretty big play here. If you can get a stop, if you're St. Francis Prep, you could set yourself up for some decent field position. And, again, it's 26-7. It's not insurmountable.
No. And More Catholic's in that weird spot. You're up 26-7. You don't really want to throw the ball. You want this clock to run. But you also don't want to give the ball back to a team that just drove the field and scored. So, 3rd and 12 here, a little bit of a big play to see where this game goes.
Without a doubt, a big momentum chance here. Mikowski takes it himself, runs up the middle, but a good job by the Terriers' defense. See Big 78 right there at the bottom of the pile. Logan Cross again.
Yeah, Cross does a good job of fighting off blocks, and St. Francis Prep does exactly what they had to do there and stop Mikowski, who's been really effective on that play.
So Mikowski back to punt. Buchanan is the lone deep man. He just takes a few steps in from the 50-yard line. Mikowski gets it off. The pressure came. Fair catch is called, and a great job catching the football as well by Buchanan. So the Terriers will take over inside the More Catholic 50. Let's take a look at the schedule here for St. Francis Prep this season. We mentioned at the beginning of this broadcast all the ups and downs, right, a little bit, where lopsided loss to Holy Trinity, and then that barn burner at Mount St. Michael and St. Joe's by the Sea. Big wins over Spellman and Zavarian with that big loss to Christ the King in between. You got More Catholic, and then the Battle of the Boulevard against Holy Cross. That one's at Flushing Memorial Field next weekend. Always a fun game. Love that it is week 8 this year between St. Francis Prep and Holy Cross. That long-time rivalry, the Battle of Francis Lewis Boulevard. First down run, getting to the edge outside. A little extra effort as well. A nice run on first down by John McLaughlin. He is finding a way to make an impact.
Yeah, Coach Carroll gushed about John McLaughlin, and we haven't seen him run the ball.
Yeah.
But little jet sweep, he got to the outside. That's a great pickup on first down, almost 20 yards. I'll tell you, the St. Francis Prep kids are playing really hard. Scoreboard, what it is, they are grinding out this game, not backing down.
And honestly, that's the identity, right, of this team. And when we spoke with Rich Carroll about his senior class, who were honored here before the start of this game. 1st and 10 now from the 29-yard line. And I think when you motioned the runner out, I think it might have caused some movement on the more Catholic defensive lines. They will move the football up. But he said of his senior class, they don't give up, they work hard, they don't cut corners, and they do the right things, and they're pushing each other. He says what a great group of teammates they are to themselves and the program. They've been phenomenal so far this season, and he can't wait to see how they move forward each and every week.
Right. And if you look, we had their schedule up. They had 2 games they easily could have won. So, for these kids, it may not reflect it on the record, but they really are playing pretty well.
The Cruz, that's complete. And a good job tackling as well. That was Corderola with the reception. And then Damon Stewart Jr., number 9, making a really important tackle because Corderola, if he gets loose there, I think he's in the end zone.
Yeah. And Damon Stewart's a kid who's coming back from injury. He's another one that, has been out the last couple of weeks. I think they sort of planned on just playing him sparingly tonight. Nice tackle by Stewart.
Yeah, no Matthias Leighton for Moore Catholic tonight. He got hurt against Holy Trinity a week ago. 2nd and 1 from the 20. The Cruz finds a man. Little dance to the outside. Asmad pushes forward inside the 5. And now it looks like the Terriers are cooking. You wonder, though, if it's a little bit too late considering the score, but you love this response, and you're getting it, and it speaks to the program here a little bit from so many different players.
Yeah, I mean, the Cruz is kind of the orchestrator, but he almost looked like a point guard, just getting the ball out there. Great answer here, and these kids are playing hard.
1st and goal from the 5. The Cruz into the air, jump ball, incomplete. Stewart was the defender, and Corderolo was the intended target.
Yeah, Corderolo is the go-to receiver, and Stewart did a really nice job of getting inside position there. But I like the call. It takes, only a couple seconds off the clock. Still got three cracks at the end zone here.
2nd and goal from the 5. See Felly, the fullback. Motion again, inside handoff. Oh, a little trickery by the Terriers. Oh, and unfortunately a slip, a late flag, as well as Corderolo slipped, and they'll call, it looks like, a hold on the offense.
Yeah, the play was there. Unfortunately, it took a little long to develop, and Corderolo's feet just kind of got tangled there as he was trying to figure out go in or out. And they got a hold on the prep lineman there.
And there you see the call, and again, this is an and goal. So you get backed up here now to the 19, but you can't get a first down.
So I think if you're prep here, you this is 2 down territory, right? You're probably trying to get halfway, just get some positive yardage here, put yourself in a position where you can go for the end zone on 4th down.
The Cruz under center, flips it to his left. And a short run, if that. That was McLaughlin again getting involved. Yeah, of McLaughlin again, Carroll said a sleeper, super athletic, plays some corner, linebacker, just a ball hawk on defense. Says he's one of the most athletic guys on the field, really versatile, the senior from Bayside. And it's a shame, you mentioned it before, St. Francis Prep's playing out here at Mitchell Athletic Complex, obviously nowhere near, right, their campus in Fresh Meadows, and that's one of the problems with all of the Queens schools, really. There is literally no field there as the Crews, again, ducks out of trouble, looks for options, runs and flings it, and it's deflected for an incompletion. But, that's maybe something people here on Long Island or even Staten Island, right, that it's hard to compute because you go to class and you walk out and there's a big football field there, right? If you're at Holy Trinity, if you're at Chaminade, you're at you're at St. Anthony's. Not the case in Queens, real estate being what it is. The home field for years and years, and back when they won, 3 consecutive AAA championships in the late 80s and early 90s, it was St. John's University when they had the football program with Bob Ricca at the helm. When St. John's dropped that program, that field, which was used for the Catholic League Championship as well as the home field again for Christ the King and St. Francis Prep, that was gone. And then it's just been a scramble, and it's, look, they do the best they can here with Mitchell Athletic Complex, but it's unfortunate that a place like St. John's University is not there anymore to be used. So this will be a field goal attempt, a 35-yarder. I think this is Pandis 18. The kick is up, and it is good. That's a good look. And he had a lot more leg behind it, too, huh? You probably had another 10 yards or so. Well done, Nicky Pandis.
See him getting congratulated there. Big moment for him. You mentioned the field. I will say this. Tonight, the community, the St. Francis Prep community, came out here to Long Island in a big way. These stands are pretty full, and they've been energized pretty much the whole night. But you're right. It's not the same as if you're, going 5-10 minutes from your house like most of these other schools have that advantage.
Last year, these two teams met twice in the regular season. It was all more Catholic, but St. Francis Prep had an incredible playoff run. They were 2-7. They were the 6th seed coming into the playoffs. They upset St. Joe's C on Staten Island in overtime, and then look at this one, a tight loss in the semifinals. Mikowski had a 12-yard touchdown run. Then he found Nicky Jordan for a 63-yard score. Troy Teleford also had that 27-yard scoop and score. That was that crazy day, if you remember, Tom, last year during the playoffs where it was like, I don't know if it was like a hurricane or whatever it was, but it ended up being, I think, like an hour delay in this one, and obviously the wind seriously affected Mikowski's ability to get the ball in the air, and that was obviously one of his better abilities. And for St. Francis Prep also, you saw the return of Caleb Artis, the Penn State-bound defender, so he helped solidify that Terriers defense. But it just goes to show you what can happen in the playoffs, right? Again, 2-7 during the regular season, or 2-7 on the season, and suddenly you're within a score of making the AA1 championship game.
I think that's what makes high school football so great, right? Once you get into the playoffs, literally the records don't matter. With all the injuries and guys missing games, whatever team is healthy and hot come playoff time, a 2-7 team can ride its way all the way to the championship. And if Mikowski's at 100%, who knows what happens in that championship game last year.
And I'm sure here Giannatasio's message to his guys is about running the clock and trying to move the chains and get out of Mitchell Athletic Complex with another win. When we spoke to the head coach about the strengths of this team, spoke about how close-knit this group is, and a lot of guys return on both sides of the ball, 8 on offense, 9 on defense. So the nucleus from last year's championship run is in place, but they are all friends off the field as well. That included last Saturday a little paintball outing for the team as Mikowski's eaten up there. And I joked with Giannatasio. I said, listen, with all the injuries that you have, do you think paintball was maybe the best option there, right? Like maybe play some chess or something, or some Monopoly.
Yeah. You know what? I thought that was so cool. You know, the way Coach spoke about his group, you know, high school football is special. You know, you're playing, you know, with some of your best friends, and it's a very demanding sport. And when you get a chance to, you know, do something like go bowling or, you know, paintball with your buddies.
Bowling's a good option there, too.
Bowling might have been a little bit of a better option. But, you know, that's what Coach has built at Moore Catholic is pretty remarkable in the short time he's been there. And he gets it, building that culture, bringing in these guys and having them mesh together. This is a very good football team we're seeing tonight, a team that's really built to get back into the playoffs and take a run at a title.
And obviously, again, their biggest win happened in Week 5, beating Monsignor Farrell 30-27 in overtime. It was a win. You know, you speak about goals, and obviously you go week to week, right, in any sport, and football especially. But there's larger goals at place as well, and Moore Catholic wants to be the best team in New York City, and to do that, you've got to be the best on Staten Island, right? So how do you become the best on Staten Island? As Mikowski pushes forward towards the 50, as you beat the best.
That's right.
On Staten Island, and traditionally that team has been Monsignor Farrell. They're the only team currently among that group of Staten Island teams of St. Peter, St. Josie, Moore, and Farrell being in the AAA, right? So they're that team. They're that barometer. So that's what that win meant to them. You know, and again, this is a Moore Catholic team that you win the A in 2016, AA2 in 2018, and Giannatasio didn't take long to have to look this up. He said, we're 7-0 against C, we're 4-0 against St. Peter's. Now we are 1-0 with the program's first ever victory against Monsignor Farrell. So, you know, obviously he hopes that helps in the recruiting wars, where again, you're on Staten Island, you're looking to get the best on Staten Island. You've got very good public school programs as well, you know, with Curtis and Tottenville and New Dorp, so a lot of teams there as well to battle with. You're getting guys, we see it here as well. You saw Akil and Arshad Meredith Smith from Elizabeth and Woodbridge, so some parts of New Jersey as well. But when you get a win like that, you know, you could show that tape on open house, right? And the celebration and what it meant to Maverick Nation, and maybe get a couple of those kids in.
Don't think for a second the Moore Catholic kids didn't know at the beginning of the season when that schedule was handed to them exactly when the Farrell game was. That's, you know, you could say week to week, and I'm sure that they hammer that home, but that's a game that they were looking forward to. The way Coach spoke about it, I mean, it's really breaking the seal on and kind of, you know, in a way establishing themselves as the best team on Staten Island.
And you know what game they also knew about, or at least the date of? That's the Catholic Championship game, and they know exactly where it is. It's back here at Mitchell Athletic Complex, and this was now the first time since that loss a year ago. So Giannatasio said, listen, on the long bus ride from Staten Island, it didn't need to be said, because they all have their schedule. They knew every workout in the summer. They knew when every practice was, every game, and the last game is slated here for that November afternoon at Mitchell Athletic Complex, and that is obviously once again the goal, to get back here and this time finish the job.
And he knew his record at Mitchell, right? He didn't hesitate for a second. That was the first loss they've had here at Mitchell Field last year in the championship game to Chaminade.
The Cruz scampers, breaks a tackle. He's got some more room, and what a heady play there as well. Gets himself out of bounds at the 45-yard line.
How impressive is Isaiah De Cruz? I mean, this kid is making people miss the whole night. He's obviously facing a very formidable defensive line, and he is a jitterbug, and he just gets out of trouble, and he makes plays happen. He's a really, really good player.
First down for the Terriers at the 44-yard line. They trail 26-10. Just a little bit more than 4 minutes left. And that one took a couple of deflections and was incomplete. As
if you're St. Francis Prep, Dylan, when you go back and look at this tape, you're going to say, I would say to the kids, look at all the good things you did here tonight. Look at the drives, look at the first downs, look at these scramble plays by our quarterback. They've done a lot of really good things. It's not showing up necessarily on the scoreboard because they stalled, they had trouble inside the red zone, but they have played a solid football game here tonight. And much like Coach Giantasio said about the Stepanek game, a couple plays here and there, and Prep could be, this could be a much closer game.
Especially those early ones, right? You think about that interception at the 1-yard line, the turnover on downs in the red zone. That could be 14 points right there to Cruz under pressure, and this time he is sacked. $17 with the sack for Moore Catholic. And I don't think either of our rosters with these new fancy uniforms has a 17. We apologize.
Well, whoever 17 is, it's good play.
Yeah.
Because it's not easy to tackle the Cruz.
Sometimes you coaches just call the number out, right? Good job, 17.
That's right.
The Cruz launches one, has Buchanan, spins, and dives forward, gets that extra lean. He stays in bounds, though, as he's taken down close to midfield. But, yeah, listen, for St. Francis Prep, again, big emotional rivalry game in Week 8. And that could mean so much, right? Like, you play so hard here. Maybe you get that win against Holy Cross and really kind of propels yourself into the postseason. You ask any of the alums of either of those schools, that's the game they ask. They don't ask what your record was, as that's an incomplete pass. They don't ask how far you went in the playoffs. They said, did you beat Holy Cross? Did you beat St. Francis Prep? It's one of those games.
You called it the Battle of the Boulevard, right? If you win the Boulevard, I think a lot of Prep fans would say it was a good year.
I feel like this is like embedded in my brain, but I think it's 2.3 miles on Francis Lewis Boulevard from Fresh Meadows for St. Francis Prep into, like, I guess it's technically Flushing, Whitestone, Bayside area there for Holy Cross. And what's cool about it too is it's one bus. It's the Q76, and it goes right down both. So if you pick up the Q76 going to school and you're a Prep kid and you're in Whitestone, you might have a lot of Holy Cross guys on that bus. But then you flip it on the other way. You got all your boys with you going the other way. Look at this run. A little icing on the cake, little high stepping as well. Pacheco! Look at that. RJ Pacheco puts this game away in style for the Mavericks.
Yeah, this kid is really good. And I say kid because he's only a sophomore.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't run like it, but you see the vision right here. The minute he breaks through and he cuts back against the grain,
high
Zay with a nice block. Yeah, and he's got a little flair here. He looks like a kid who's going to put on some weight. He's a Temple offer. 6'1", 175. He's going to be a problem in this league for the next couple of years.
PAT is up, and it is not good. So DeLacy goes from, like, this tremendous hero of winning the game against Farrell to maybe getting in the doghouse of his coach a little bit, leaving a bunch of points on the scoreboard, but it is 32-10 for the Mavericks with 2:27 left. So, yeah, when you think, again, there's 1 week left of the regular season, and you start to sort of look ahead at what the postseason might look like, and we could show you the standings, but one thing I will say is, again, these are without the PowerPoints put in, which, you look at the preseason seeds and where teams were, and more came into this. I want to see the top seed, or the second top seed coming in as a team that played in the championship game a year ago. So Listen, St. John the Baptist having a great season as well. We showed you their results. Only the one loss in league play. Holy Trinity, this was, again, going through week 6. They just lost to Chaminade. They have some injuries they're dealing with. Dylan Brathwaite, they've been without him, as well as a broken collarbone, and now Josiah Brown suffered that concussion this afternoon. But I would say, and we saw Florida Prep last week too, play hard against St. Anthony's, and they were banged up a little bit. But if I was a betting man, I would say I think More Catholic is the team that wins this. Just again, seeing them in person here and knowing that they're not 100%. Again, this is an impressive performance, and there's plenty to clean up. But you're without Matthias Leighton, and he is so super athletic. And then when you get him on the field and you team him up with a Pacheco and a Mikowski, that's now a third threat. And you've got your other receivers and Ferraro and Jalen Johnson, right? Like you've got so many talented players, and then that line as well. I just think that they have kind of that whole combination of the physicality, the athleticism. I think it would be a great game if it is Holy Trinity against More Catholic. Certainly St. John the Baptist might have something to say about that as well during the season. But look, you go back a week ago, it was a 21-14 game, right?
Yeah.
And Mikowski finds Leighton for a 64-yard score. Jaden Simpson goes the other way, ties it at 7. Rocco Raynone ran for a 3-yard score. Mikowski had a 12-yard touchdown run. That tied it, Tom, with 1:29 left in the fourth quarter. So what Giannatasio is thinking at that point is, listen, we just won in overtime against Farrell.
Right.
We have the ability. Our guys know exactly what overtime feels like and how to win in overtime. Felt pretty confident about the possibility of winning that game in Hicksville in overtime. But then Devin Gonzalez, the sophomore, runs for a 73-yard score. Little mistake defensively there by More Catholic, and that was the difference in that game. Again, that play, right? The 6 or 7 plays against Stepanak, that one play against Holy Trinity, that goes another way. Maybe it goes overtime. Maybe they do get that win.
Yeah, I mean, it sounded like it was an alignment issue, right? Somebody had aligned probably in the wrong spot, but, credit to Holy Trinity for winning that game. But you're right. I think More Catholic, I've said it a few times, I always look at a team that can run the ball in almost any condition with multiple players, and More Catholic is kind of built to win with that kind of lineup. And, it's going to be exciting because I think there's a number of teams. You mentioned St. John the Baptist, and if there's probably some St. John the Baptist fans who want us to talk more about them because they really have had a good year and they do have an excellent team. It's going to be exciting.
A really good player.
Yeah.
He's one of their top guys. They're kind of that off to the sides, like kind of like sleeping giant right now, right? Like, don't talk about us. That's fine. We'll come up in the postseason and maybe surprise some teams.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a bunch of teams that would not want to see St. John the Baptist come playoff time.
And then really super AAA. We spoke about it before the start of our broadcast, but it will come down to a Friday night game in White Plains with St. Anthony's going on the road, taking on Stepanak. That's a game you could watch live on MSG Network on Friday night. And listen, it's once they show the PowerPoints, I think this is how it's going to project. But basically, the winner of that game is the number 1 seed in the postseason, and the loser will likely then be the 3 seed, which would mean Iona Prep, as there's a sack on the play, Iona Prep would be the 2 seed. So if you're St. Anthony's and you somehow don't win that game at Stepanak, you might have to then go back up to Iona and try to beat the Gales a second time at Mara Field. That is not easy. And if St. Anthony's beat Stepanak, my God, you have earned your right to be the number 1 seed, getting wins at Iona and getting wins at Stepanak.
Yeah, that game Friday night is going to be a war. Stepanak is excellent defensively, has shown they can put points on the board. St. Anthony's, you get the feeling, can score, every single time they have the ball. They're so talented offensively. But you're right, tremendous game there Friday night to determine playoff seedings.
I suspect it'll be something that will be discussed on the latest podcast. Jared Veluzzi, John Perez, myself. We'll break down all of this week's actions as there's an interception at the 48-yard line. And it could have been brought back to the house with the exception that your own guy knocked you out of bounds, as James Matera might have a word there, but that is, in fact, the final play of this game. So Moore Catholic comes out to Uniondale, and they get the 32-10 win. But it was a game, that you've got to say, and both coaches will see this on film and certainly say the same. It was a lot closer than that final score would indicate.
Yep. Entertaining game.
Yeah.
Two good teams. A lot of really, really good players on the field here tonight. Fun atmosphere.
Without a doubt. St. Francis Prep falls to 2-6 on the season, 1-6 in the Catholic AA1, heading into that rivalry game against Holy Cross in Week 8. And Moore Catholic, the number 1 seed here in AA1, they improved to 6-2 and 4-2 in AA1, heading into their Week 8 showdown against Cardinal Hayes. That'll do it here from us at Mitchell Athletic Complex. For our entire Varsity Media crew, executive producer Ben Turch and our technical director Chris Sweeney, Angelo Caezo, and Ron Pierre with all your moving images, and of course my color commentator, the great Tom Rooney. I'm Dylan Butler, thanking you for joining us from Mitchell Athletic Complex, and we look forward to seeing you next time right here on the Varsity Media Sports